In today's video, we're going to talk about RV living safety because there are some dangers out there that we didn't know about when we first started RVing 2 years ago, and we want to share with you so you can keep yourself safe on the road. But before we get to that, we want to get an update on Darlene's condition.
Yeah.
Why you got that thing on your neck? Tell the folks.
Well, if you're new here, welcome. Our channel is Like There's No Tomorrow. This is Barry. I'm Darlene, and I had a little bit of an accident. So, a few weeks. How long has it been? 3 weeks almost.
Yeah.
You can go and watch the video, and it explains the whole thing.
You don't get to see the accident in the video. I know it's
no. You get the recap, but I don't want to rehash all the details because so many of you have been watching and commenting and well-wishing, and I so appreciate it. But I did have a head and neck injury falling off of our patio of our toy hauler. It was quite serious. It could have been so much worse. As far as how I'm doing, it's a little day by day. I'm definitely feeling better. I think you can probably tell if you go back and watch the accident video, I was really uncomfortable and not feeling well. But I definitely still have the pain. I have a lot of head pain. I have a lot of fatigue, but the severe pain from the when it happened has definitely calmed down. I just have more numbness and pins and needles down both arms. So it's not as painful. It's just more like, ooh, that's not good. But I know I have some issues going on in my neck, in the vertebrae. And I go to the neurosurgeon here in about a week and a half. And that should really give us a lot more information about what damage was done and what the plan is from here. We're hoping for the best, and I'm hoping for the best and starting to remain positive about the whole thing. But I am very, very fortunate it wasn't worse. And I am very fortunate for you guys, our community, who have just been amazing through this whole thing. So that's just a little update. We're not going to go into any more of it other than you'll have to see the neck brace.
Well, actually, today's entire video is about how not to fall off your patio to break your neck.
No, it's
so
not.
Step one.
No, it's about RV dangers. But you know what, guys? Accidents happen, whether you're in a house, you're in an RV, you're in a car, whatever. That isn't what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today are situations that can arise in the RV life that you just need to be aware of and know what to do so that you're not putting you and your family at risk. That's right. It's just some dangers that we have discovered in our 2 years on the road. The first is just safety in general,
Yeah, one of the questions that we get a lot, because we do a lot of boondocking, and we want to define boondocking. I always do this because people seem to get it confused. As far as what we're talking about is not staying at a harvest host, which we do a lot.
Yeah.
A harvest host, which is a place, it's like a place of business where you can come in and you
or
can,
like a Walmart, a Bass Pro,
Bass
any
Pro
of those.
parking lot.
We're not really talking about that stuff. We're talking about being off grid.
Yeah,
in the wild.
Yeah, off grid is, we were just in Laramie, Wyoming. We're at 8,100 feet. When Darlene had her accident, we had been at this place almost 2 weeks, and it was right outside the city of Laramie, but it was in the middle of nowhere. We absolutely loved it.
Peaceful and nature and wonderful.
Yeah, so, it's like camping. Go figure.
Yeah.
But that's, to us, is defined boondocking. And so since we do that a lot, we get a lot of questions from people that just are like, man, don't you feel unsafe when you're out in the middle of nowhere where somebody, I guess they're just kind of like mean, where somebody could just come attack you? And the answer is no, not really. Because I look at it like that would have to be like a crime of opportunity. Not to say that it couldn't happen. It absolutely could happen, and it has happened before. There's an accident we heard about, or not an accident, there was actually an incident where a couple was killed around the border of Mexico and South Texas, and they were boondocking. But that is a very, very rare situation. People, you may not realize this if you're not exposed to the boondocking world very much, but at any given moment, there are thousands upon thousands of people that are off-grid boondocking in
all kinds
especially
of places.
Out west. There's tons of them.
Yeah, I always remember talking to someone when I asked that question for the first time, and he was like, look, the bad guys aren't going to drive 45 minutes or an hour outside of their bad guy spot to come out in the middle of nowhere, find your RV and do something to you or your RV. You're more likely to have problems at a campground than you will out boondocking.
When we're out boondocking, one thing that really makes me feel super safe is our dog Hugo. He is a 80-pound mutt. He kind of looks like a golden. He's a model dog. Everybody calls him Handsome Hugo, but he can be fearsome Hugo.
Yeah.
If he is startled, and he will attack. He will bite.
Yeah. If it's a noise, if his people are in the RV, especially, and there's a noise or a person that doesn't seem to be right, or what, he immediately starts the big bad dog bark. Yeah. And that's comforting to me. But I am 100% sure if someone came in to our RV when we weren't here, he would do the exact same thing. Now, not everybody has a Hugo.
Now, we should probably talk about the topic of
protection.
Yeah. We're not going to use those words because we have heard rumors of other YouTube influencers being, get the little slap from
getting their videos slapped down because they talked about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're just going to talk about it without saying the words.
Right. So, if you want to protect yourself in that way, that's up to you. We are certainly not experts on that topic. The one thing that I would say is that you absolutely should educate yourself when it comes to transporting those things state to state. Yeah. And there's plenty of information out there. There's organizations out there that can help you make sure that you're
Google it.
Stay on the right side of that situation. That's all we're going to say about that. That's how you would be wise about that. But because if you're going to make that decision, don't make it.
You need to know how to use it, to take care of it. Don't, if you're not someone who's always had them, you need to educate yourself and get your skill set to use them wisely and have them near you or on you so that if something did happen, you have access to it. So
yeah, keep in mind, it's a legal situation. If you ever find yourself where you were defending yourself and had to use said thing, you are now going to be in a legal situation.
Yeah. So the insurance you can carry could help that too. So do some search, check out maybe some other people's videos. Hopefully you can find them still. But we think it's something you definitely should consider and address if it's going to help you stay safer on the road.
Enough talk about condoms.
Say it without saying it. That's what we're all about right now. So one thing that I do, this isn't going to keep you safe, but it's just a very smart thing to do. I give my entire travel itinerary to my sister. I email it to her, and then if it ever changes, which it does, because boondocking spots change, I'll let her know. And the reason I do that is I want someone to know where we are. Because what I do is when I get to a new spot, whether it's boondocking or a campground, I usually send my mom and my sister a picture, let them know my coordinates if I'm boondocking, let them know I got to that campground so that they are aware, hey, I'm good, we're good, here's where we are. That way, if they ever can't get a hold of us, at least they know where we were or are. So that's not going to keep you safe, but it's definitely just a smart thing to do. Have someone who knows where you're going to be, where you're traveling to, whether you're doing a month, 2 weeks, or full timing. It's just a smart thing to have in your checklist of things to do. All right, Hugo and I have come to talk about something kind of serious, and he's probably not going to stay here, but that's okay. But this guy, he's very important to us, and whether or not you have a pet, people who have pets, and so what I'm about to share is rather important for everyone to consider. But in light of my accident, it just got me really thinking, what are the areas in our RV life that maybe aren't addressed? Now, I will tell you that we addressed the whole pets being in the RV from day one. And what I want you to think about is how at risk are you? How at risk are your pets? Because if you do not have a way to monitor the temperature and the humidity and what's going on in your RV when you're away from your RV, these guys are left at risk. And I hate to be that like negative, worry about everything, but it's part of if you are in an RV, and I don't care if you're a weekender, if you leave your pet in the RV unattended, whether or not you're hookups or not, what I'm about to say is super important. So, I had a friend who reached out, and I've told this story before, and she did everything right. I mean, they had a digital thermometer that was hooked up to their internet. They were at an RV park. They had full hookups, and the ultimate thing happened. They lost power while they were gone, and that power took out their internet, which took out their thermometer, which in a, there was just a series of oh no's, and even their solar backup was overwhelmed because all three air conditioners were on, so it didn't kick in because it was too much at once and it overloaded their system. So you think you have layers of protection, but you really need to think if you're truly protected. Now, from day one, we have used Waggle pet temperature monitoring. And it is a, like, if it's not working or I don't have it, I don't leave our dog. It's that simple. What it gives you is peace of mind. It gives you the control you need to know you're going to be notified if you lose power. Because RV parks lose power, guys. Do not think just because you have full hookups that you're, always going to be okay. Our friends there, and there was a lady in a Texas RV park who left her dogs to go to work, and they lost power over the day, and she had no idea, and she came back to, unfortunately, I think 2 of her pets passed away. This is stuff you don't want to mess with. With Waggle, it's a simple little unit. You put it on the wall, somewhere in your RV. Don't put it near your stove, by the way. Made that mistake once. And you basically set a high temperature and a low temperature. It has a really cool, super easy app that you use. And anytime the temperature goes higher or below that set parameter, you're going to get notified. You're going to get a message on your app on the phone. You're going to get a text. Every level of I'm going to reach out and tell you that your pet could be in danger is happening. And we've had it happen. We've been on a long hike. We were boondocking. We got the message. It is so important, whether you're boondocking, on grid, off grid, campgrounds, that you have something that's going to reach out and tell you. Now, Verizon is the system that this works off of. You don't have to get a special plan. It comes with the monitoring. And you say, oh, I don't want to pay for that, or that's too expensive. How about 41 cents a day? Is your pet's life worth 41 cents a day? I know mine is. And if you get the 2-year monitoring, that's what you get it down to. And even better, Waggle is a friend of ours. They're a sponsor. They're a partner. We believe in them. And so they're giving our community 60% off. 60% to get going on this. And they have the pet monitoring system. They have cameras. They have little things that feed your dog when you're out. I mean, it's so cool how much technology they're putting into what they offer. And again, we've been using it for 2 years. And we have had 2 instances where we were notified that the temperature was getting too hot and we need to get back. So this is an area I really hope you assess and make sure your pet's not in danger. Again, if you're a weekender, if you're a long-termer, see what options they have for you, because it is essential to keeping your pet safe and you having that peace of mind and not worry when you're going to go out exploring. So check it out. The links are below. I'll put the thing on the screen, and consider this as part of your RV life adventures. All right, so this one is about knowing what to do, having all your information readily available in your RV if you're a Class A or B or C, or in your truck if you're towing, because you could be at risk of not knowing what the hell to do if you're in an accident. And the reason I bring this up is because early in our RV adventures, we had a bit of a predicament happen in our, I don't know, it was right after we dropped our daughter off at college. So it had to be a month and a half in, maybe 2 months tops. And honestly, guys, we're still learning the rig, how to drive it, how to tow it, all that stuff. So, but I think an even seasoned RVer would have had a problem with this situation. So we're just going to tell a story because it brings the light. We got ourselves in a situation and I didn't have any of the info readily available to know what to do next. So,
yeah. So we were going through West Virginia, and Darlene had booked a campground, and we were coming into the campground, and it was in this little town. It was at the top of the mountain, but at the top of the mountain was the campground, and there was this little town below it. And I guess we had received an email shortly before we got there, them basically saying, hey, there's 2 roads to get up the mountain to get to the RV park. One of the main roads is closed, so you're going to have to take the other road.
Which is not the road we intended on taking.
Not at all.
Our GPS was like, that's not how you should go.
Yeah, that's the GPS was doing its job. It's saying, don't go up that road.
But the RV park was like, no, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be just fine.
Who do you trust? You trust your GPS. I'm
yes.
just telling you right now.
100%. So if you can imagine with me, if you will, you're going through this tiny little mountain town, pulling a 44-foot toy hauler on a 22-foot truck, driving down these little 2-lane streets, and then the first thing that you see going up the mountain is a road that just goes straight up. And I mean, and these little tight turns. And then as you're going up, oh yeah, by the way, I think it was a Friday.
Like at 5.
At 5 o'clock. So the people that did live there, they're all getting off work. They're either going back home up the mountain or they're coming down the mountain to go to dinner or something. And so there's tons of traffic. And I've got this big RV that I'm trying to take up this little mountain.
2 lanes.
This mountain, 2 lanes. And we're going up switchbacks.
Yeah. The first one we saw, we were like, oh no, like what is going on? I mean, you know, when you got yourself in that situation.
Yeah. So what do you have to do? Oh, here's a tip. If you, for one, don't go up switchbacks if you can avoid it. Don't get yourself in the situation in the first place. But if you do, remember that your turn radius, you still have to go way out and around. And
basically, I would have had to gone out and stopped the traffic on the other side of the road for him to have made it. Yeah. And being so new, I didn't. I think now I would say, okay, stop. And I probably would have walked up there and stopped the cars, to be honest, if we had that situation happen 2 years in, like right now. But he took it as wide as he could, and it was not wide enough.
Not wide enough. Yeah.
So the tires on the passenger side went off the road.
Tires of the RV did.
Of the RV, yeah. Luckily, the truck was still totally on the ground. Frame hits the concrete. Whole thing's tilted on the front passenger jack and the back frame, and the tires were off. So he's in the truck, fingers on the RV brake, foot on the truck brake. Darlene, get out and look and see what I don't know what to do. And I didn't either. And I'm just shaking at that point. Traffic is just stopped. So I get out, I go back there. It looked off. And I'm so sorry. Back then we didn't, of course I was in such a funk, I wouldn't have known to pull out a camera. So I don't have pictures or anything. So you just have to go off the visual of our story. So the craziest thing is, like, this guy comes walking up. I was in a panic. And this is my lesson, is I didn't know who to call first. I didn't know if I needed a tow. It looked like I needed a tow out. I didn't know, I didn't have all that information right there. Like, okay, we call them first. I didn't know anything. I was so new. I had all that stuff. I had insurance. I had tow package. I had a roadside assistance, but I didn't have it handy. And I was in a panic.
Where was it?
It was in the RV, which is not helping you. Yeah. So that's your lesson right there. Have it in your glove box, right there, know where all of it is, and have like a list written out. That's what the lesson is. But let's tell about the story, because it's kind of crazy how we got out of it.
Yeah. So these, again, we're in West Virginia, and these good old boys, I call them angels because they might as well be
good old boy angels. Yeah. Thank you.
They came down. One of them, I think, was riding on a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
And another guy from behind.
People were on their porches.
Oh yeah.
They were all taking it in.
It
was better than any trying to back in the campground entertainment that anyone had seen in a while, I'm sure.
Yeah, watching these idiots from Florida try to pull their big RV up the mountain. So anyway, so they came, and and this guy was smoking a cigarette, had
Yeah.
a his little tank top on, the whole
He
bit.
looked like he just got off work as a mechanic,
Yeah,
honestly.
and he
Yeah.
just said, "Wow, looked like you got yourself in a predicament."
That's
That was his
exactly
exact
what he
words.
said.
Yeah, it's like, yes, you
Yes,
could say
indeed.
that, sir. So he just said, look, I think I can help you get out of this predicament. Just watch me. And he
Yeah.
literally stood in front of me and motioned for me which way to turn my
Yeah.
wheels. And
And mind you, they
he
had to
just,
back the traffic
yeah,
back from us in both directions. These other guys came up on four wheelers. They all backed the traffic up, and then this guy helped Barry do it.
yeah. So we just backed the trailer up, and when we did, the wheels got back on the
Yeah,
road.
and it screeched, and still it was
Yeah,
painful to do. But that was the only way we were going to get out without being towed out.
yeah. And our license plate was bent in half.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea how high that it came
Yeah.
up. Anyway, so they were able to get us out of that predicament. Thank God for them. Yeah. So the moral of the story there, to Darlene's point, yes, have your emergency stuff there in the truck with you, but even more so, don't get yourself in those emergency situations.
Yeah.
Looking back on that, I don't know what my frame of mind was. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh, it'll be fine. That was
Yeah.
my
I think what
mindset.
we did pull off to the side when we kind of saw that this was like a really weird area. It didn't seem like a road we should be on. I think we probably should have Google Earthed it right then and there and just seen that road, how it was going to twist, and probably made that decision not to go that way and just stay somewhere else or drop the RV and drive the truck up and see what we were heading into. So those are all things you don't know, and sometimes until you get in those situations. But that incident made us so much wiser to assess the situation. Don't rush. You don't have to go to that RV park. You can, same thing if you're going to a harvest host and you are not feeling good about the road you're heading in on. Don't call, because a lot of times, so this was a newer RV. I think it had been bought out and redone. And the ladies in the office didn't know dink. They didn't know anything about RVing. They just worked in the office. So in her mind, when I went up there and complained, I said, you cannot send big RVs up that road. It is dangerous. And she's like, oh, well, we thought the other road was just too steep. It was a straight shot. So, it's just one of those, you really need to ask questions. Don't let yourself feel like, oh, well, we'll just figure it out. No, just be in control. And I think that's really the
Yeah.
moral.
Okay. One of the dangers that you might encounter is you're at risk of getting your stuff stolen. And so let's talk about how to make that not happen. So one of the key things that we do is that regardless if we're boondocking or if we're at an RV park, we lock up our e-bikes. We keep them locked up pretty much all the time. I lock them to our stairs, our main stairs right here by the kitchen. I do that for a couple reasons. For one, it's a lot easier to do. I did have them like under the pin box because I like the fact that it would protect them from the rain. We have a cover for them, but then after a while, I thought, it's just not good still for me to be for them visibly to be away from us, because these are they're $3,000 for these e-bikes, so it's not something that I want to get stolen for sure. So we have a kryptonite lock, which I have to say was a very expensive lock, and it was very painful to make that purchase, but I don't regret it because I thought if I'm going to invest $3,000 on e-bikes, I'm going to get a darn good lock for them. That now we always have to go back. If a thief really wanted to break the kryptonite lock, could they do it? 100%. If they have the opportunity of stealing your bikes and having to go through the kryptonite lock, or that other guy down the street that's got that cheap little lock that they can snip with a pair of scissors, they're going to go for the cheap little lock. To me, these things are not foolproof. They're just deterrents. So you might as well have a really good deterrent if you're going to do this. So now the other big thing is whenever we're boondocking, we do have a portable generator. It's a brand new Cummins portable generator. I really like it, and I really don't want it to get stolen. So I lock the generator up I actually just lock it to one of the legs of the RV, and I feel like it's pretty safe. Now, when we leave for the day, if we're going to go out for an excursion and we know that we're going to be gone for several hours, we'll just go ahead and put the generator in the toy hauler. I just why wouldn't we? You know, it doesn't weigh that much. Two people can easily put it in the toy hauler area. That way, I'm just not worried about it at all. This is a big one for me. Probably the next most expensive thing that I own in my life, next to the RV, is the truck that pulls it. The last thing that I want is that truck to get stolen. And literally, the day that I bought that truck, brand new Ford F-350, I bought a good old-fashioned club to put on the steering wheel. And I use it all the time. I use it, I mean, certainly when I'm sitting here at the RV park, when I pull into the parking lot at the CVS to go into the pharmacy real quick, I put it on then. I put it on. Why wouldn't you? Because it's one of the best deterrents that you can have. Again, deterrent being the key word. Can a professional thief break a club? Of course they can. Do they want to do that instead of, or they just want to go to a truck that doesn't have a club on it? That's really what this is about. If you want the club for your truck, hopefully I have inspired you to do such. You can get it. Just click on the link down below. You can get our actual, there is a truck club, and you can order through Amazon. We do make a little commission off of that. And, you know, we've have people ask, how can I support your channel? That is absolutely one very small way that you can support our channel, is just ordering through our links.
Okay, so another one I just thought about, as far as safety and being safe as far from legal troubles that could happen, is your weight. So if you
can be too fat.
No, not that. No, but your RV could be. Ooh. So know your weight. Go get weighed. Do the math. We are not the people to tell you how to calculate that. There are many other channels that have that. Changing Lanes, Keep Your Daydream, they all have like a calculator to help you figure it out. But go to the CAT scale. It's the easiest one to go to. There's an app. You'll get weighed. If you're part of escapers and escapees, they have that service for their members. So you can use that to have an opportunity to get weighed. But if you were in an accident and if they could prove that you're overweight, you could be legally liable in that case. So you need to know, not only for the safety of traveling, because if you're overweight and you're traveling around a lot, I mean, you could risk blowout, you can risk accident, you know, that's kind of a given. But you can also be in some legal trouble if you don't know your numbers. So know your numbers.
Okay, now we're going to talk about lions and tigers and bears. Okay, maybe just bears. So have we had a bear encounter? I haven't, but you have.
I did. So this next set is about the dangers of wildlife, about either, I don't care if you're at a campground, national park, state park, boondocking. There's animals out there and they want to eat your stuff. So how do you really can't prevent it, but you can do some things to not make it, you know, attract them. So my bear encounter is kind of funny because Barry was gone. So we don't do this very often, but every once in a while he'll have a business meeting or we'll have a family situation. That's what this was. Lost my earring. But he needed to leave and I had to stay with Hugo, with their egg, by myself. So we were in Klamath, California, and Northern California. And we were in this really unique, I think it was technically on a reservation or run by the reservation, but it was very remote, very bare bones, lots of woods, right next to the water. And basically I got up one day and Hugo was like glued to the toy hauler patio window. So I was like, what does he keep going back? And he was just pacing. And I finally went and I looked, and literally about 2 feet from our back patio was a bear eating the cherries out of a cherry tree that was literally right next to us. And I'm inside, so I felt a little better about that. But honestly, bears are very powerful. So it was very startling. But throughout the week he was gone, the bear came back almost twice a day to feed on the cherries in the cherry tree.
My bear is back. I think this is a different one. I think it's a little bit bigger than the last one. As you can see, they totally killed that cherry tree. They pulled all the branches down trying to get the cherries.
And I started to quickly realize, oh, wow, you really cannot leave anything out because it will attract that wildlife. So I had to really watch it with taking Hugo out. We did go out late one evening where the sun was setting, and I looked in the tree. I did not see any bears. So I was like, okay, I'll take the dog out now. So I was really aware of it because he wasn't there. So we just walked. We're coming back. We're walking by the spot where the tree was, not real close, but within eye shot, obviously. And it was, and then the tree moved. And I was like, and I stopped, and the dog stopped, and we both looked, and the tree, the bear was just like hanging in the middle of the tree, chilling. I think his belly was full of cherries. And I mean, just, I don't know, within 10 feet of where we were. And I was just like, don't bark, come on. And I think he knew, like, oh, it's a big ass dog. But in we went. So the story, I think, and we get this question a lot about what we do with our trash. When we're boondocking, if this would have happened boondocking, obviously you don't want to leave your trash out.
No, absolutely not. We one thing that we started actually doing when we were at our most recent boondocking spot is we started burning our trash. Just burn it because we do use paper whenever we're boondocking, as far as paper plates, paper bowls, as much as possible. Mainly because we don't want to use the water in the sink as much. We try to conserve water as much as possible. So if you use paper plates, you're not going through as much dishes. So we put them in the bag. I just kind of put them in a separate bag, and then at the end of the day, I just kind of go over there and I just burn them. That does help us conserve on the trash, so we're not having to run it out as much. But then, other than that, I mean, I go ahead and put it in the back of the truck because I have a tonneau cover on the back. Now, you could make the argument that a bear, if he really wants to go in and tear it into my tonneau cover to get to the trash, he could probably do it. Maybe that's not the best idea.
Yeah. And you can split your trash up into like small bags that maybe like when you're running to Walmart or something, you could just throw that little trash in there. You can't throw your big garbage bag in a trash can a lot in just like regular places, nor should you. But there are places like rest stops sometimes that will have dump stations that have trash bins there. Sometimes truck stops will have trash bins. Mm-hmm. It is a little problematic. Sometimes you just have to get on. A lot of the apps read and see if the dump station places will have a trash can as well, and you can throw it away there. But another thing to be very aware of, especially, I don't care if you're boondocking or in a campground, don't leave your coolers sitting out. So when we did our very first big backpacking trek in California in our 20s, I remember the ranger, we had to get a permit to go in backcountry. And he said, okay, well, here's the deal. Don't leave anything visible in your car that a bear could think is food, including coolers. They know what coolers are. They're going to tear into your car to get to the cooler. So if they can see it, they're going to go after it. And the same thing at a campground, don't leave your coolers sitting out. A lot of people leave them right there outside of their RVs. Pull them in because they know what that is and they're going to come after it. Anything with the scent, they're going to, and when, I'm not saying it's always bears, it can be raccoons, and they make a mess and they're yucky and dirty and stuff.
Yeah,
so
they're not good.
They're not good. So just some things to be aware of when you're out in the wild. Be careful. Animals can be dangerous, and you don't want to attract them to your site. All right, so I hope you know now some things that could be dangerous that you're going to go and work on and make sure that you're safe and sound on the road. But that's all we have for you today, and we just wanted to remind you, come over to the website, check out. We have so much to offer there. We have a blog, we have freebies, resources that you can download on solar, on set up and tear down checklists. What else we have on there?
We have a budget sheet.
Oh yeah, the budget tracker. Popular. Yeah, that's very popular about how to budget when you're full-time RV or you're on RV trips. And so a lot of people asked, especially since the accident, how you can help support us. Honestly, watching our videos. That's what YouTube's all about. We get paid. The longer and the more you watch and you share and you get your friends to watch and share. But also our Amazon store, again, at no cost to you, we get a little bit of commission. Plus there's a partners page on our site, which gives you all of our preferred RV service and product people and brands that we think are the best. And a lot of times they're giving you a special discount for being part of our community. So you can go over to that page and see there's discounts on lithium batteries, there's escapees, there's so much stuff on there, and it's a great resource if you're getting going or you're just curious about full-time living. Another thing are socials.
Yeah, we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram.
We'll put all the links in the description, but you can generally find us there. We've had to use some funny name like at stuff because like there's no tomorrow was taken.
Yeah, isn't there like a super thanks deal?
Oh, right. Okay, this is a good one, and I kind of just forgot about it. On YouTube, underneath all of our videos, there's a little heart, and it says thanks. And it's basically a way to help support us. $5, $10, I mean, whatever.
Kind of like a tip.
Yeah, it's like a tip for bringing you this kind of content. So that is a way you can help support us. As some people have asked about GoFundMes for our medical bills, we're not going to go there yet. We need to get the full, like, what we're responsible for before we're going to ever ask you guys to jump in that way. But we'll let you know. And it's a very sweet thing to have suggested by many of you who emailed me. So we appreciate that. We appreciate all your support. And I guess we'll see you next week. Bye.